Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the Rippin Reptile Podcast from the boys at Predatory Exotics.
This is episode 2. I don't know if we've decided on a name for this one.
The main topic's going to be like the DWA license that we have in the UK for dangerous wild animals, specifically the reptiles involved in DWA. We don't know what it's called in other places, but that's going to be the main topic. But first, let's talk about the support you gave us on the last podcast.
Yeah, actually, I was crazy. I think currently we're sitting at about 220 views for it.
Literally, I think in the first 24 hours it had 100, and then within a couple of days it was 200. And if you watched the first one, you know there was a little bet, and I said, make sure you support the podcast. We were at work, the week before we decided to record it.
Yeah.
And I was like, we need to do a podcast. And he was like, okay, we'll do a podcast, but it needs to get a certain amount of views. And then it got 100 views. And his bet was if it gets 100 views in the first week, he'll get a giant African bullfrog for me. And it got 100 within the first day.
The first few hours. And then...
literally, I think, the first 2-3 hours, it had about 40-50 views. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, I was I've messed up. And then I was telling my mum about the bet. My mum was like, "You're an idiot." I was like, "Oh." So you'll probably see in the near future new baby African bullfrog in our collection.
Yeah, we want to get one because they start off small, so we could keep it in a smaller tank, and then as our sort of collection grows, and then we get more room and stuff like that, because we plan to sort of build some sort of facility. It will then get to the size where it's impressive, and hopefully it's a male, because I know the males get bigger. I think they weigh 2.5 kilograms or something.
Some of the ones I see online are giant,
thick.
They are big frogs. But
and that thing you were telling me the other day, that guy, he eats how many mealworms a day? And we worked out how much it cost.
Oh yeah, someone was saying about how many mealworms he was feeding his fully grown giant African. It was 200 and something.
Yeah, and we worked out it was £5 a day.
He was literally paying £5 a day to feed this.
It was 2 boxes of mealworms a day
to feed this. And then I watched Snake Discovery. I was watching them feed turkey.
You said. I didn't realise you
massive
could feed
chunks of turkey. This thing was annihilating it.
I know they can eat bugs and they'll eat rodents and stuff, but I didn't realise they could eat just meat.
Yeah,
but that's pretty cool.
It is pretty crazy. But yeah, so we both really like the giant African bullfrogs, and so I think that's kind of why it circulated as the bet, but it wasn't too high on my list.
Yeah,
and I think it was a bit higher on your list, so we were like, that would be a cool thing.
Yeah, I like the big frogs, cane toads I like as well.
Yeah, see, I'm the small frog guy. I like, the Pac-Mans, the tree frogs, all that kind of stuff.
It's like the step up from a Pac-Man.
Yeah, it's literally
yeah.
The Pac-Man's older cousin who gets 10 times as big.
Just eating everything.
But yeah, hopefully we'll pick that up soon and set up an enclosure, and hopefully we do get it quite young so we can see it.
Yeah, because they start off with loads of pattern. The ones you buy really small, they got all these different greens. As they get bigger, they go this olive green type thing, which is quite nice.
Yeah, so
they got some mad teeth as well. They got 2
Oh really?
2 sharp teeth. If they bite you, it hurts.
I've never actually seen. I only see their tongue, of how they normally do it. But yeah, so hopefully you'll get to see that grow on the channel and stuff, because I think that'd be a cool.
And then talking of growing the channel, obviously. This one's going to be about dangerous wild animals and stuff.
Yeah.
So obviously it's not something we're looking at in the near future, because we don't really have the experience at the moment. But it's something we want to work towards. So mainly sort of start off with what you see behind us if you're watching on the YouTube channel. We've got a picture of the Gila monster, or the Gila monster, which is actually my top reptile.
Big fan.
They're expensive, but they're a really nice species, and they're the sort of animal on the DWA that isn't the most dangerous.
Yeah,
they are a venomous lizard, and there isn't an anti-venom for it, but it's a neurotoxic venom, which means it's going to deal with your brain. So
okay.
It's not going to rot your arm off.
Yeah.
So it's going to bite you, and it's going to hurt, and
you're going to
it's going to swell, and it's not going to be pleasant. But not people don't really die from it unless you're old or something. So that is one of the top ones, but I've seen them before. They're about £1,000, which is a lot. Like,
The only place we've seen it though is in the zoo, right?
Yeah, when we went to London Zoo, we saw it there, and we saw the Mexican bearded lizard, which is similar to that.
Yeah.
I've seen it at Emsworth Reptiles years ago, before they had, because we've been to Emsworth, sort of 6 months ago.
Yeah.
That was like the first time it went, wasn't it?
Yeah, we've been there like 3 times, twice or 3 times
Have we?
at least. Yeah, because I picked up.
Oh yeah,
I got Loki
came
from there. And then I feel like we've definitely just been there to show my girlfriend and stuff around as well.
Because last time we went, they have like a sign on the door saying what they had, like a rattlesnake, and then a cobra.
Yeah, because
or something.
we must have been there at least like 4 times, because we would have gone to visit, like to look around.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because you said you looked at the bearded dragon.
Picked up Loki, bought the sand geckos there.
We went before lockdown because we had to queue up.
Yeah, the sand geckos as well, and then we must have gone. We must have just gone for another trip to show my girlfriend as well.
We've been like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, we've been there a few times. Don't forget to, if you are in the local area, check them out. Yeah,
it's one of the best. It's like a big shop. But when I used to go there a few years ago, they had the venomous stuff out. So they had like a display thing, and I remember they had a Gila monster there, and it was about £1,000. They also had like a leucistic western diamondback rattlesnake.
Oh damn!
Which was pretty cool, and they had the vipers you like, the blue, the blue ones, not the African bush viper, but the, I can't remember what they're called, the little vipers.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
But they've moved that out the back, and they've got a lot less now. But we don't really see venomous stuff.
No, so I think we did. We did capture it in the video itself when we went to Coventry, to KBN. They had the.
There's a monocled cobra, I think.
Yeah, and I think we did capture it because it was like behind like 2 panels of glass.
Yeah.
And like they were talking to us about how they had a special guy who had the license that came in and dealt with it. Other than that, we don't really see them around.
Places that actually sell them. I saw. My favourite venomous snake is the gaboon viper. So I've seen that once on, Pensfold Reptile, which we haven't been. We keep saying we're going to go there.
Yeah, we have a list of places we want to go. So
that's in Kent, and it takes us about 2 hours or so to get there. Probably like 2.5 hours. So we're planning on going there. Obviously, we're out of lockdown now.
Yes, finally.
But still tier 2, and I think Kent's in tier 3. So we can't really go there to look around at the moment. But they special ordered one in for a customer, a gaboon viper, so that's pretty cool. And I've seen them online for about £250, which isn't the most expensive, but when you think it's got the longest fangs of any snake, and it's got venom that's going to rot your arm off.
Yeah, we have kind of a list of stuff that we're interested in getting. One of my personal favorites, other than obviously I've talked about it many times in the past, the dwarf caiman.
Yeah.
But that's something that would be, quite far in the future. Just
because even though it's dwarf, it still gets like 6 foot.
Yeah, it's
6 foot. And it's,
but one that I would actually probably look into getting that I could do would be the bush viper.
Yeah.
Because I think they have some really cool colours, and I just like how their scales look.
Yeah. It's like that keeled scale.
Yeah.
Where it's like a dragon scale type thing.
Yeah, and they look pretty sick. And then you were showing me the other day about the horned one.
The desert horned viper. Yeah. I really like the desert vipers. So you got like the sidewinders, the different desert ones, because I like the way they burrow in the sand. They just look really cool.
We saw a couple of them at the zoo as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're I prefer vipers anyway to sort of cobras and like more of the like colubrid type snakes.
Yeah.
Because even though they're super quick at striking, they're not really like they won't move around, they won't chase you, they won't try and run away. Like when you're trying to deal with a cobra, it's either running away or it's like hooding up against you. Whereas the viper's just going to sit there. As long as you don't get within its sort of strike range, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
So that is something.
So those are a few things that we're planning to get. But then another thing we wanted to talk about today is stuff that we think should be on the DWA that isn't.
A lot of stuff you can get is venomous. And anything that is venomous can kill you.
Yeah.
Like a bee could kill you.
Yeah.
A bee could sting you.
Enough bees, yeah.
Well, even if you turned out you were...
If you were allergic to it, yeah. But
like,
I was meaning more like if you got stung enough times.
Them killer bees swarm you and start just So yeah, like the scorpion, I've never been stung by it, so I don't know if I'm allergic.
Oh, the Asian virus. Yeah.
Or like any of the scorpions I've had, so you don't know if you're allergic until it happens.
That is a thing that we of course, going into the future and getting more animals are going to have to be a bit more cautious about.
Yeah.
Because there is a few people online that I watch that like are allergic to the most random stuff.
Yeah.
They'll be allergic to like the saliva of something.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Because I heard I watched like Clint's Reptiles, and he said like he got bit by a crested gecko, and it like swelled up.
That's what I mean. Is some people, I don't know how the body.
Yeah.
I always felt like allergic reactions were the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Because everyone has different allergic reactions. And, like, the fact that if you could eat a peanut and it could kill you...
Yeah.
It just boggles my mind. But, yeah, like, some people I've seen online, like, it's probably the same thing with Clint, is, like, allergic to the saliva.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. And
because he was saying about, like, all reptiles, something in their saliva is a bit... Like, it's got some sort of bacteria. Obviously, they thought the Komodo dragon wasn't venomous. Like, they thought it was, like, a bacteria in its saliva... So that when it was like biting water buffalo and stuff and then tracking them down, it was just waiting for the bacteria to sort of multiply. But now I think they've actually reclassified it as venomous. So it's like the Gila monster, the Mexican bearded lizard, and the Komodo dragon are now the 3 venomous lizards.
Yeah, and it's just something we're going to have to be careful about. I can in fact tell you I'm not allergic to a bite from a crested gecko because I have been bit, not out of like anger, just because I'd fed him some worms, so it kind of went into kill mode, and then saw my hand go into the tank, so went after my hand. So I'm not allergic to.
The one thing we have is the centipede.
That is the dangerous thing we have.
Obviously, there is one reported case of the Vietnamese giant centipede killing someone. But it was a 7-year-old girl.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, younger people are going to be more susceptible to.
And she got like bit on the head.
And she got bit on the head, which is not going to be a good place.
So, especially, I don't know if it said what country they were in.
It was the Philippines, I think.
Yeah. So if you were, let's say, out in the Filipino,
if you're in
like
the sticks,
you couldn't get to a hospital.
Yeah, because I think she died like 27 to 28 hours later. So it wasn't like a.
Damn.
Like, I don't know what happened, if there was complications of it or something.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Maybe she didn't even like notice. Yeah. Maybe she just thought.
Yeah.
Don't know, but yeah, that's what I mean. That's what we were talking about.
But then you see like these crazy people. Like I watch Kings of Pain.
Or Coyote Pizza.
Like he's been bitten by the giant desert centipede from like the Sonoran Desert. He got bit by that, and he said it was like one of the worst. And then I watched Kings of Pain, which is like similar to Coyote Peterson. It's on like the History Channel, and it's 2 guys that just go around getting bit by stuff. They have like a medical professional, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
But they get bit by I can't remember which centipede it was, but yeah, they were saying it was one of the worst ones. So like, it's a case of like, should that be on the DWA?
Yeah, I feel. Like we said, anything probably could kill you if you were allergic to it, but it's like the majority of stuff. Because like, if anyone got bit by the centipede, it would affect all of them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the kind of thing that like
it's going to ruin everyone's day.
Yeah. Whereas if you're specifically allergic to something, it's kind of a bit different because it's like a chance that you are.
Because obviously you've got the centipede that's killed someone that isn't on the DWA, but you've got stuff like the boothed scorpions, which are like the fat tail scorpions.
Oh yeah,
the ones with the really small claws, but their tail is like thick. You've got them, which I don't think they've actually killed a lot of people. Like they're not actually super dangerous, but they're still on the list, as well as some of the like the spiders that are on there. They're on the list, but they rarely do anything.
I don't think there's many spiders on the list.
There's like some of the Australian ones, like the funnel web spiders.
Yeah.
Black widows.
Of course, yeah, like the obvious ones.
Like the brown recluse spider, which is another one. But then you've got stuff. There's the six-eyed sand spider.
Okay.
Is like this tiny little spider that like lives in the desert, and it basically buries itself in the sand. So it will sit on the sand and then do that sort of shake thing where it shakes into the sand. And then what's quite cool is if whatever colour sand you put it in, the sand sort of sticks to the little hairs on the spider.
Okay.
So it will go like a red sand or like depends which it's in. But then there hasn't been enough like research on the venom for them to sort of classify it onto the DWA license list. But from like tests on like lab mice, and I think someone got bit by it, it causes massive necrosis of your tissue.
Oh.
Like, I think one guy, allegedly, he got bit by it, but it's not, like, confirmed, and literally his skin was rotting off.
Damn.
But you can buy that. I've seen them, seen them available in the shop, and they say, like, we recommend that you have a DWA, or you have massive experience with different spiders, because they're pretty nasty.
So it's crazy to think.
Oh, and the centipede. When we went in there to buy the centipede, obviously they ask you questions and what you've got and stuff like that. And they were like, a guy came in, he bought one, it bit him, he went into anaphylactic shock from the centipede bite, and then he came in and bought another one.
He came in and bought a second one.
You have to be a little bit crazy to do the sort of things that we want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course we will look into getting DWAs.
Yeah,
you know,
because at the moment the stuff we're getting, if it bites us, it's not really going to kill us.
No,
like we're pretty healthy, like young adults. But the stuff that we're talking about getting is you don't want to be messing about.
Be more careful.
Because basically we'd want to build our own building.
Yeah, we talked about this a bit about the last podcast. Yeah.
So it would be sort of separated. It would be a separate building, so you wouldn't. It'd be a lot more secure.
Yeah, we design like a room that is specifically
be like a venom room.
DWA stuff. Which
obviously there's different specifications. Like in the UK, I don't think there's a lot of building regulations in terms of what your venom room has to be. But in America, there's pretty strict rules depending on which state. Some states like they just let you do whatever, but some of them I've seen one guy, he has a venomous collection, and his license says that he has to have 2 doors.
Okay.
So like this room, you couldn't have it as a venom room because there's only one exit.
Yeah.
I guess in case the snake gets out, and then you haven't got anything to sort of your snake hook or whatever, and it's in front of the door, you have no way to escape. So you've got that one, and then another guy I saw, in his venom room, he had to have a double entrance. So he converted his garage into his venom room.
Yeah.
And then, so he took the garage door off, put a normal door, but then he had to make like a porch onto it.
Oh, so he had 2 doors into it.
So it's like a four-person porch. So he could go into one door, shut it, and then they could open the door into the venom room. So in case something got out.
Like a disinfectant room.
And then he opened the door and it just comes straight out. At least it would
still be.
It would still wouldn't go out. Which is quite a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. There's lots of different ways, and we have seen online lots of different ways that people have kept them. But a major thing is the prices. Yes. Now, of course, we have been looking at our local area for DWA prices, and the amount it fluctuates is quite ridiculous.
I looked last year, and for where we were, it's £90, which is one of the cheapest ones, actually. It's quite a good price. It's gone up to £95 now. But sort of near, like, the next... basically, each council can decide what they want.
Yeah.
Which is...
Well, that's the thing, is it's 95 for your house.
Yeah.
It's not for my house, where we are now. And we only live a 10-minute drive away from each other.
Yeah, literally, like, from one council to the other council, they can charge what they want, even though the price... Nothing's changing. Like
we're 10 minutes down the road.
So it's £95 in our local one, and then I basically drive under a bridge.
Yeah, get to my house.
Ollie's house, and it's £240.
And
so it goes up 2.5 times the price, and then the sort of the county over, well, not county, the council, is £180. And then literally some of the disparities in the different councils is ridiculous. So Hull City Council, the price for a yearly one is £58. So £58 for the year, which is super cheap. You drive 64 miles down the road to, I think it's Nottingham City Council or something.
Yeah.
And it's £1,199.
It's £1,100.
Like £1,200. Like, that's ridiculous.
Like,
clearly the council just said, nah. Like,
this is what I mean. We were saying, I don't know how they come up with the number.
it must, like, fair enough, they've sort of done it to the ridiculous end where it's like, we don't want you to have it.
Yeah,
so we're going to put the price up. But why is it £95 or £240?
Yeah, like, so the 95 one has obviously gone, they don't mind that people are keeping them.
The 241, they're like, oh, we don't mind, but we're going to put the price up a bit.
Like, even though you could you just drive 10 minutes down the road.
Because I don't really know anyone local to us that has
a
venomous collection.
No one that we've encountered, or at least told us about.
In the US, you have to get experience.
So
with each specific thing as well. So if you wanted to get a crocodilian, you'd have to get like 1,000 hours training with crocodilians.
Yeah,
to get your crocodilian dangerous wild animals license.
I did see it was like you need at least 2 years experience. With dealing with this, plus training.
Because they have to take on like a mentor, and then rack up the hours for each one. So if you wanted vipers, you'd have to get like your viper one.
It's just like loads of training.
Yeah.
But then that's
it's safer, yeah.
Then you look at England and it's a bit like...
And you just fill out a form.
You just fill out a form, a guy comes and checks that you can hold it.
I don't know if I've told you about this. I saw an article the other day and there's a loophole.
Oh, with what though? Because
they found like 5 retail shops in the UK that had dangerous wild animals for sale in the shop. And they basically said that you can sell them as a shop to the owner without a dangerous wild animals license, because it's on the onus of that person to get the license.
Oh.
And you don't have to have the license when you buy it, because you can get a license
later on.
Like, yeah, you can then apply for the license. I can't remember it's called. Like,
oh, sorry, I just tapped the mic.
Like in post, you can be like, oh, I've got this, and then apply for the license and get it. But I don't know what if they say no.
And then you're just stuck with it. Then you're breaking the law.
But then, yeah. So I don't know what... yeah, that was a bit dodgy when I read about that. And sort of venom protocols is another thing. In terms of like OCD, they've got all like folders by the door in some of the American ones I watch. And they have different venom... Because obviously different snakes have different types of venom. So some have like a hemotoxic venom, which is going to like clot your blood. You can have like the neurotoxic venoms.
Yeah.
And then you have like the necrosis ones that just rot your tissue. So you have to have a different protocol for each animal, so that if someone gets bit, you have to then go to the folder, see what to do. But some of them, to be honest, you're like, if you get bit, if like
scrounging through a book isn't really gonna help.
Like at London Zoo, they have the inland taipan, which is the deadliest snake in the world. They said there it will kill you in like 45 minutes. Obviously, if you're 45 minutes away from the hospital, it's not going to be
done
good.
for.
Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. But yeah, it's something we do want to look into.
Yeah, and so it's just, it is crazy with the price difference, because you're spending like as much of a setup on
like a Gila monster is £1,000,
and then you got to pay for that guy to come and check.
Oh yeah, so that like even if you got the cheapest one that's like £58 in Hull, you still have to pay for like a licensed vet to come out. He then inspects your facilities or whatever to make sure it's okay, make sure everything's secure, everything like that, so that nothing escapes. You have all the sort of, because each council wants different stuff, so they might request that you have the double door thing or something.
Yeah.
So each council can do that, and then I think there's another one like even like the police can come round to check it.
Damn.
Like they can come round.
So I feel like with the one with £1,000, I feel like you'd have to go through all of that kind of procedure.
They'd make you jump through so many hoops
just to own it.
And then like the one for our council, it says on the applying thing that you have to get insurance. So obviously if anything does happen and if anything gets out,
you're covered.
You need to have like it's a requirement of the license. I don't know if that's a requirement of the license. You'd probably want to do it anyway.
Well, that's the thing is, if we were building our facility, we'd have so much insurance anyway. Yeah. Like for all different factors in terms of animal health, employees, and then of course DWA, and of course the actual building itself, if it ever got broken into, the amount of insurance we'd have would be crazy. Especially because if we're having people come in and tour.
Because we would possibly do like a venom show.
Yeah.
But it would be like you'd have your seating area and then the snake would come out with like a barrier between you.
Yeah. Like, and plus you'd even have like forms to sign.
You wouldn't just whap it out of the enclosure and be like,
here we go.
Viper. Like it would, that would have to be... Because I've seen people do it at expos in America.
Like, okay.
They're on their benches and stuff and then they have sort of a wall or like a perspex barrier, and then he's doing the venom show like that. But stuff like the Gila monster is a lot. You can handle that.
Yeah.
Like as long as you're handling it correctly, so they sort of underneath, and they've got quite a thick neck, so they can't.
Especially if you were wearing like gloves. Like
yeah, you can get the venom gloves. They're like 400 quid. So like 400 quid gloves that I've seen people use with like baby vipers and stuff, because their fangs aren't big enough to
pierce through it.
Yeah, pierce through it, and like the Gila monster as well. But once you get to sort of vipers, rattlesnakes, especially Gaboon viper, they have like 2-inch fangs. Like it's enough to like bite
metal gloves
like through your wrist, and they're quite sort of hard to grip stuff. So you're not very like dexterous with them on.
No, of course.
And if they were to sort of get in the glove,
then you're
because they go sort of like halfway up your forearm.
Yeah.
So if it got in the glove, then you'd be panicking a bit.
You'd be
and like trying to hold your snake hook with them. They're obviously a bit hard to hold.
This is what I mean. We'd get into loads. We'd probably talk to so many people who have owned DWAs before we ever looked into getting.
Yeah, there's a guy I follow
on
Facebook. He's got quite a few bits, but other than that, in the UK, we don't see a lot. Like, it's hard to contact people if they're not promoting themselves.
I mean, if you are if you're watching this and you own a DWA, you can get into contact with us.
Definitely contact us.
Send us a message and talk about what you've got and what area you're from and how's the keeping regulations.
Visiting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's that as well.
You'll be on this and you can show off your collection.
And we'd be definitely interested to talk to you about what you own. But just sorting out the camera. Yeah. We're all good. But yeah, so we would definitely, we say not in the near future.
Yeah. Definitely not the crocodile.
Oh, 100%. No, that wouldn't be until
we actually sort of set up a place that you could come visit. We would set up like a pool and stuff like that.
If
you've ever been to Crocodiles of the World, I think it's in Essex.
Yes.
They've got like the majority of the crocodilian species throughout the world, like 20 odd species out of like 23 species. They've got all like custom built pools for different crocs and stuff.
That is one of the things I was reading about online. It would be getting into contact with people like them, into looking into buying it, because it's not something you can really just pick up.
That's the thing. Like Komodo dragons, you can buy them. Like I saw someone arguing on Facebook about it because someone was like, "Oh, you can't keep Komodo dragons, or whatever, because you're not allowed to import them."
Yeah.
Obviously, it's only if someone breeds them. And not a lot of people are breeding Komodo dragons because who's going to buy a Komodo dragon?
Who is your target audience?
That's one of the things with this sort of thing. It's like if you are going to breed stuff, you got to think who's going to keep 20 Komodo dragons. Yeah. So they're only going to breed it, and then you have to get a lot of special licensing for them because I'm pretty sure they're on like the CITES endangered list and stuff like that. So you do have to make sure you got the proper licensing for them. And the same goes with like some of these venomous snakes. They're going to lay a clutch of 20 eggs. You don't want to keep 20 cobras. So you've got to try and sell them. And then there isn't the demand. and you've got a high supply, so the price comes down, and you're selling venomous snakes for like £100, and you're encouraging people
to buy it without proper thing.
It's one of them things. A lot of people think that people shouldn't keep dangerous wild animals.
I don't think we'd breed them. I think
unless there was some big demand
for a specific thing,
or like if we were one thing we were really passionate about, like gaboon vipers or something, and we were like, because I looked at the licensing thing the other night, and you have to say if you're going to breed it.
Oh, okay.
Like on the thing it says, do you intend to breed this species? And it's yes, no.
Yeah.
So maybe like a gaboon viper would be cool. Or I'm not into like the hybrid stuff.
Yeah.
Like crossbreeding different species of reptile. But what a lot of people do is gaboon viper and rhino viper.
Okay.
So gaboon viper is obviously the normal cryptic pattern, super cool. And then the rhino viper's got the same sort of snout, but more of a like little appendage on its nose.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
Sort of green and blue hues,
and
people crossbreed the gaboon and the rhino to get like a gabino.
Childish Gambino.
Like I don't know if I'd be into doing that because I like to keep them like pure species. And then gaboons, there's like an East African and a West African, so it'd be cool to get a specific one, so you know which sort of subspecies or species you got.
If we had the space, we could have a fail-safe of keeping them if no one bought them.
Yeah.
Then it would be kind of a thing we'd look more into.
And sort of we'd have to look into what sort of tank, because the baby ones you can't keep it in like a sliding glass one.
Yeah.
Because they can squeeze through the sort of panes of glass. So a lot of people keep them in the vision ones. You know, them grey ones. I don't know if you're a big fan of them.
They
had the X display at Ridgeway.
Oh yeah, I remember. I'm not the biggest fan of them. But then again, it would be different if we had to do it.
Yeah.
I'd kind of be like, okay,
because with
safety
them,
first,
kind of. The bulb and stuff is inbuilt into the thing, so they can't get out, and then all the ventilation holes are sort of not the like pop-in ones in the wooden tanks.
Yeah, because I don't know if you can see them out the back.
You could pop that off.
Yeah,
I've seen some people accidentally put the vent on the outside.
Oh, and it's just come out.
So that obviously with them, it's popped inside and it's got like a lip, so you can't push through it.
Yeah.
But they put the vent on the outside, so whatever just pushed the vent out the back, which is pretty crazy. Like, don't do that.
If that happened, you.
But with the Vision ones, they're like pre-drilled holes and stuff, so you don't have to worry about that. It's just the glass. It's like sliding glass. So your small ones, you'd have to keep in like sort of a locked, like Tupperware.
Yeah.
Like rub type thing, and then that's what I see most people do, and then they move it up to the Vision cages, and they stack, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
Like they're similar to the.
Yeah, we did see like them all set up when we went and they had them, but they've all upgraded theirs now to different ones.
Yeah, so they're nice. That's the sort of thing we would do, but it's whether we had like a separate room.
Yeah, that would kind of determine. This is the thing. Is like, it's all like good on pen and paper. It's when you actually come to doing it, it's like, can you do it? Kind of thing.
Gila monsters, I'd sort of be tempted to breed.
Yeah. More because you can keep them a bit easier, I'd say.
Yeah, they're out of the venomous stuff. Even though it's quite expensive, it's more expensive than some of the snakes. It's probably one of the best ones to start with because we're a lot more used to lizards.
Yeah.
And it's one that's not gonna like.
See, that's the thing is once we get snakes, it's new experience.
Yeah.
For both of us. Neither of us have kept snakes before. I don't know about you. I don't have too much even experience with handling snakes.
I have a little bit from friends and stuff that have snakes and different collections, but we'd need a couple years at least, sort of dealing with different snakes and stuff like that. And then a lot of people suggest sort of going with. Obviously, you want to get hognose.
I do,
which is technically venomous.
And that, technically, it is venomous, and that's one of the snakes I've actually had a chance to handle when I go to the shops because I'm always interested in seeing what morphs they've got, and a lot of the shops are very kind enough to allow us to handle them, which they don't do with every customer.
Yeah, because they are rear-fanged venomous. Most rear-fang stuff is less venomous. There are exceptions. There's some like rear-fang stuff that is pretty deadly.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, you got hognoses, which is a good one to start with, and then it moves up to like mangrove snakes and like the cat-eyed snakes. They're rear-fanged venomous. They'd be quite a good thing to start with. And then you go into like, you want vine snakes, don't you?
I do. I think vine snakes are one of the things that I think is a super cool display animal. I think they look awesome.
Have like a big planted viv.
Yeah, vine snakes, and then the tree vipers. Is it tree vipers? Yeah, the ones that curl up on themselves and hang. And we've seen quite a few of them.
Green tree pythons.
Python, that's I was like, viper didn't sound right in my head. I was like, no, it's not viper.
That'll kill you.
I was like, it's not. The tree pythons, I think, are also a really cool species to keep as well.
Because they're not venomous, but their teeth are crazy. If you Google like green tree python teeth, they're gnarly.
I'll Google it now.
Like, I think there's a skeleton and it's just got these, like, I think they're the longest of any non-venomous snake. So the gaboon's obviously got 2-inch fangs. But the green tree python's gonna cut you up.
Let's see. Oh god! Like, oh my god!
Like, ouch.
I know people listening on Spotify won't be able to see this, but I'm gonna show up to the camera for the people on the YouTube. I don't know if this is gonna pick it up properly, but you can kind of see the kind of mouth that it's got. Which is absolutely that's ridiculous.
Yeah, literally. So that's gonna mess you up.
Oh, that's probably like alien predator.
That's
type
probably
stuff.
like more dangerous than some of the other stuff. Like,
that's the thing. It's like you see those top rows,
yeah,
and then you see they've got these little like individual
so
ones
basically,
at the bottom.
Like, as the things come out, like the gums will get pushed up.
Yeah.
And then all the teeth will come out. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a skeleton of like one, and it's nuts.
Like, that literally just looks like Predator.
Like, look at that.
Well, that's mad. Yeah, but anyway, that's a species that I definitely would want to keep, because I find
they're quite expensive, because you can get obviously the different islands. Like, if they come from a specific locale or locality, they're more expensive, and then a lot of them are coming like designer morphs. So they're born like a yellow or a red, and most of them change to green. But they've got some ones that like stay yellow and stuff, or they develop blues. Which
we've seen quite a few in stores, like in some of the places we've gone to.
Yeah.
Especially the place that we see them a lot is whenever we watch expo videos. I see a lot of them on there.
Because they're quite a nice sort of display. They're not really a handable one, especially with them teeth.
Yeah, no, it is.
Because a lot of the tree snakes are more reactive, because they're used to catching birds and stuff.
Yeah.
They need to be sort of on edge, just in the tree waiting.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as a bird comes past. That's why it needs the massive teeth. If it flies past and you miss it,
it needs a bigger ratio.
You've got to wait,
of getting it.
You've got to wait till next week till
another bird passes you.
Yeah, like, so that's pretty crazy.
But yeah, so that's the kind of stuff that we'd be looking into getting, and I think we're actually rounding up to the end of this podcast. Of course, this time flies. I don't know how long it's been, but you have to change the thing. Yeah, we're at like 40 minutes right now. So
because we have to, when you notice the little in the middle,
lip at the middle,
the little lip.
The camera that we use is a great camera, great quality and all that. It does half an hour max though, so half an hour recording max, and of course our podcasts are longer than that. So I have to kind of reach over and restart a new recording, which isn't an issue, but it's just something that does happen. But yeah, we are coming to the end of it now.
So this is going to be released sort of. We're going to do it 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, we're doing it every other week. Is what we're planning, at least for the podcast. So hopefully you guys enjoy that, because you get a bit more extra content.
And if you have a specific topic that you want us to talk about, like we've still got a lot of ideas. This idea we only came up with yesterday. This isn't even on our list, because we just keep talking about.
It is because we were chatting about DWAs yesterday, and we were like,
should talk about
that would be a cool thing to talk about on the podcast. especially if it's something we were doing in the future.
Yeah. So yeah, like we said earlier, like if you've got DWA stuff, like send us your Instagram or whatever, and we'll talk to you.
Wherever you are, but especially if you're in the UK.
Yeah.
Because if you're in the UK, you're kind of in the same boat as us.
Because I don't see... Obviously, we're going back into it now, but I don't see venomous stuff at expos. Like, obviously, there's not a lot of videos of the Doncaster Reptile Expo.
Yeah, we don't have too many expos.
Yeah, we said last time our expos we haven't been to them, but there's just not enough.
Yeah.
But you go
compared to other places.
You go to the American ones, and they've got the tubs, but then they put like the red tape around it.
Yeah.
For like the venomous hot stuff. But I've never seen anything that on any of the Doncaster videos.
No.
There might be some sort of rule against.
Maybe.
Because they obviously don't let you get certain morphs. Like the ones that, like the spider ball python and stuff.
Yeah, see, you probably get a list of rules when you're a seller. And hopefully one day we are a seller at one of the expos. At least, like, if it's only once, I feel like it would be a cool experience to do. Once we have all the facility to set up and all that, it'd be a cool experience just to sell at least once and have a table of our own.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think we are gonna need to wrap it up. Well, this is gonna push through
before it goes into the third.
The third quarter, we're just gonna push through. So I think it's just
outro time. Just show the same love that you did on the first one.
Yeah, we hope you guys are enjoying.
We're on like the first one got like 217 views or something. So if we smash that, if we smash that, like they got like 18 likes. So make sure you smash that like button.
Yeah, and don't forget to leave suggestions.
Yeah, definitely.
If you want us to talk about it, and we actually we've had some contact from other people wanting to be on the podcast.
Yeah, so if you have like sort of a reptile company or you're like have some sort of reptile thing. I've had talked to a couple of people about going on the podcast. We're going to do it like this for now with our few topics.
Yes.
And then we're going to be setting up a more permanent
podcast we're in the works of setting up a permanent podcast place. Permanent just like area of recording. House. Yeah, recording in general. But definitely the best way to contact us is Instagram.
Yeah.
Or email. You can contact us email and Facebook. We do check it, but Instagram is the main one that pops up. And we communicate most with Instagram, you guys on. Like,
the support for, like, Instagram.
We're at 400.
400.
Yeah.
We just hit, in the last podcast, we said about the 250 giveaway on YouTube.
We hit 250.
We hit 250, so we're going to be doing that giveaway. So everyone who entered, good luck with that.
Yeah. And we'll be releasing, as soon as we do it, the winner. And getting in contact with them. But yeah, so if you are interested in being on this podcast... we'd figure we got to do some moving around and stuff like that. And once we have a permanent place, we could do, once we're out of lockdown, we could look into getting them in person. But it would be over like video call and stuff like that. Because I think some people from America have contacted us. But other than that, we hope you have enjoyed the second episode of the Rippin Reptile Podcast.
And we'll see you in 2 Wednesdays' time.
Yes.
But in the meantime, check out the Friday videos.
You might just be getting some other odd out of the blue videos. And of course the podcast. So we hope you have enjoyed. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
See ya.
Bye guys.